Welcome participants in this next session of MOOCs on organizational behavior. In the last session we were talking about the definition, the meaning and different characteristic and essentials, importance of leadership, and we also discussed why leadership is very significant in the organizational working and specifically why it is part of organizational behavior. I told you that leadership is of course a kind of behavior also. So, it has impact on behavior of others. So, if in totality we try to understand the organizational behavior, it is not possible to understand it without understanding the concept of leadership. So, we were talking about all that in the last session. In this session, we will talk about the types of leadership styles. Style means different people have different ways and methods to do things, and here things means to do the business work, to do the organizational work. They have their different ways, and these ways will be known as the styles. So, different leaders, different people, different managers have their different style of leading the organization, and this is understood as leadership style. So, there are different styles, and these styles were first propounded or advocated by the German American psychologist Kurt Lewin, and he is credited with the branding the basic leadership styles in 1939, and the identified first three styles of leadership propounded or advocated by Kurt Lewin are autocratic, democratic and free rein kind of leadership. So, according to Kurt, they can be autocratic kind of leader, democratic kind of leader and the free rein kind of leader. But over the times, certain other styles were also identified and contributed, and among them the next was the transformational leadership style. So, the first four type are the autocratic, democratic leadership style and free rein leadership style and transformational leadership style. But over the time other styles have also emerged, and if we go through the literature related to organizational behavior or related to leadership, specifically the leadership style, now in aggregate there are more than 10 different styles being identified and practiced by the people in majority, and among them the leadership styles other than autocratic, democratic, free rein and transformational, there are leaderships, transactional leadership, charismatic leadership, bureaucratic leadership, situational leadership and visionary leadership, and yes, of course, strategic and servant type of leadership styles also. So, now let us try to understand all these different type of leadership styles, and yes, how these different leadership styles can be practiced by different people among different kind of situations and organizations and as per need. The very first one is autocratic leadership. Autocratic, this is also known as authoritarian, coercive or commanding and dictator type of leadership also. So, whenever we talk about the authoritarian kind, coercive kind, commanding kind and dictatorship type of leadership style, basically we are talking about the autocratic itself. And autocratic leadership style is just opposite to the democratic leadership style, and the democratic leadership style we understand. In this leadership style of autocratic, the leader makes decision without taking input, advice or participation from anyone of the team member who are reporting to them, and the proverb used by the leader is do that what I say, means there is no say of the team members and others in decision making or in working of the organization. So, the sole custodian of decisions, what people will do, how resources will be mobilized, what kind of activities will go for attainment of organizational goal, that will be decided by the leader only. Practice of this type of leadership is the autocratic leadership, and autocratic leaders carry out strategies and directions with absolute focus and concentration. And the situations where this type, when it is ultimate time and a significant decision, even after lot of efforts or democratic tries could not happen, then the situation demands that the leader should be autocratic. Otherwise, it is not much healthy to practice this approach. It will depend upon the nature and type of the situation. When things have become very complex to decide something, in that kind of complexity, leader will come forward and autocratic style can be used, but in general the autocratic style cannot be practiced. The next leadership style is democratic, and democratic leadership style is also known as participative or facilitative leadership. Means here the team members which are involved for the attainment of organizational goal have freedom to be part in taking decision, in deciding that how the resources of organization will be utilized. So, that kind of leadership is the democratic type of leadership, where the team members have the possibility of participation. So, this is democratic, and this is just opposite to the autocratic. In the autocratic, no one participant or no one team member is allowed to say anything, only the leader, what I say, do that. But in case of democratic, there will be a common consensus among the members, among the team and the leader, and then yes, of course, there will be freedom to ultimately decide to the leader, but the contribution in the form of information, in the form of data or in the form of opinion given by the team members will also be taken into consideration, and only then the final decision will be taken. This is democratic, and this leadership style is of course a very useful leadership style even among business working or organizational working. The next is free rein. Free rein is also known as the delegative or hands off leadership. When the leader is delegating, leader has given the full empowerment to the team members to take decisions and use resources as per their need. Here the interference of leader is not much. We can say it is just opposite pole to the autocratic. In the autocratic, the sole custodian of utilization of resources and decision taking is the leader, whereas in case of free rein, the custodian of this decision taking and resources utilization is with the team or delegated to other persons of the team. So, again let us try to understand there will be different kind of situations. As I told you that in case of autocratic, what kind of situation? Similarly, in the democratic, there would be different type and nature of situations which will demand the practice of democratic leadership. But yes, of course, for the purpose of delegation, there is need that freedom should be given to the team members, so that they can decide it. Reason being, if all the member will always look towards the leader, then it will be difficult for the leader to handle each and every activity, processes or functions or decisions of an organization. So, there should be delegation of that utilization of resources and direction to the team. So, this is free rein. Then next is transformational type of leadership. Now, transformational type of leader gain the trust and confidence of the team, encourages team members and lead employees towards meeting company's goal. So, the basic elements of transformational kind of leadership are that there should be trust. The leader must gain the trust and confidence. It is not only trust, confidence. Trust means dependence, whereas confidence, yes, my team members are capable, competent, the teams, and then encourage team members. By having the trust and confidence, the team members encouraged and the leadership is given to the employees. That kind of leadership style is the transformational leadership style. Transformational leader most of the time inspires their team members to think in a new way, to be creative, to be innovative among all different kind of activities, all different type of processes, all different type of resources. Resources means how such kind of resources should be used, so that there will be minimum expenditure on the business activities. Whereas process, what kind of processes which are consuming minimum time, minimum effort and minimum energy. So, the transformational leadership style includes that also. The next one is transactional leadership. Transactional leadership is based on the reward and punishment, and these managers or leaders tell employees they can expect rewards if goal is met, otherwise there will be punishment. So, transactional means when the leader lures or motivate or encourage the team member that if they will accomplish the set goal, they will get certain reward, and if they will not met the goal, then yes, of course, there might be punishment for that. So, this is transactional kind of, and this type of leadership can be practiced among organizations where attainment of goal is very significant, and example is insurance companies. Insurance companies have target of maximum enrollment for the insurance, and for that daily basis, weekly basis, fortnightly basis, monthly basis, then quarterly, then your half yearly and yearly basis goals are given to the people. So, that is transactional leadership. Then coaching leadership. Coaching leadership is, it is also known as conscious leadership, and conscious leadership means when the focus and concentration of the leader is on a specific group or on a specific team, and it is for identifying, nurturing the individual's strength. In coaching leadership, the leader will identify and nurture the individual's strength, and by doing so, then next the organizational work will be accomplished. So, this is coaching kind of leadership, and this type of leadership is practiced among situations where really there is need of typical type of characteristics or typical type of strengths to work as a leader. So, that is coaching leadership. Now, the bureaucratic leadership, unlike autocratic leadership, democratic leadership, free rein, transformational and transactional, the bureaucratic leadership is different. And in this leadership, people follow a certain code of behavior, rules and regulations already formed by the leader, that is a bureaucratic style, and this style best works for larger order or traditional companies. Majority of government departments, majority of government organizations observes the bureaucratic pattern, and the bureaucratic means already there are set standard processes, patterns, operating procedures, policies, all these are already existing, and these are practiced and people will observe the set code. That kind of leadership is the bureaucratic leadership. Then next one is the situational leadership. Situational leadership, management is not same among different situations. In the life of any business organization, there can be different type of situations. The first situation is when everything is going well, all the resources are mobilized properly, everyone is doing work appropriately and things are going very well. First situation. Second situation is there is some crisis, some challenge, some problem, and the type, size and nature of problem may be of different kind. Similarly, for the challenges also. So, when people are working with different set of problems, different set of challenges, different set of availability of resources, then situations are different. During the COVID times, we had seen everything was appropriate for running the business, but the physical health or health of people, or we can say the concern of people for their health, deteriorated everything and the situation changed, and as a result of that there was need to change the physical environment also. So, situation leadership is what kind of situation and what kind of contingencies or what kind of resources are necessary for that. Different situations will need different type of people to address it, different type of resources to address it. The next one is visionary leadership. Visionary leadership is also known as affiliative leadership. Visionary leadership focuses on future and long term goals. How the future of organization can be ensured? We can take example of Microsoft, we can take example of Google. Daily they are worried because technology is changing at such a fast pace that there is always a state of uncertainty, fear, how organization will keep on working or keep on generating the same quantum of revenue. To ensure that, to ensure it for the future also, the style of leadership practiced is visionary leadership, and the focus of this leadership is on future and long term goals, and this kind of leadership is required for establishment of a new organization and then running the organization for a long period, say for years, number of years or lifelong, or there is no end to the business. So, the visionary leadership. Next one is charismatic leadership style. Charismatic leadership is defined as leaders who uses his or her communication skills, perseverance, charm that influences the others, motivational speakers, film heroes, celebrities, religious gurus, all they have their typical type of communication skills and persuasive skills, and because of that they are identified and people start following them, and these leaders actually attract people with their communication skill, persuasiveness and charm of a particular competency. So, that is charismatic leaderships. Next one is servant leadership style. The servant leadership style is based on the idea that leader prioritize serving the greater good. What best can be brought to the organization for the accomplishment of its goal. If that kind of approach is practiced in the leadership, the type of leadership is servant leadership, means how best organization can be served, and service means how best resources can be mobilized, utilized, and specifically the human resource. With this, it is conclusion of a different type of leadership style, where I have explained where and what kind of situations these styles should be practiced. The next part in your curriculum, in your syllabus, is leadership theories. Whenever we talk about theories, means how different philosophers, authors, managers, leaders have understood the phenomena of leadership. Leadership is a phenomena, leadership is a process. So, how it happens among organizations, understanding of that is expressed among different theories, and different people have tried to explain, have tried to understood about leadership. And among them, the very first theory is the great man theory. The great man theory is propounded by Thomas Carlyle, and he proposed that great man theory in 1840s, and according to the great man theory, leaders are born with the right traits and abilities for leading. According to this theory, leaders are considered as the born leaders, means the people, those who are leaders, they are leading because they are having certain set of traits by birth. It is not possible to train leaders then thereafter. So, this is the very first theory which is the great man theory. According to this theory, only by birth trait of leadership can make a person leader. The great man theory actually in the process gives certain inborn qualities, means there are certain inborn traits, qualities or characteristics by virtue of which this leadership can be practiced, and among them the very first is charm, means those who are leaders, yes, they are charming, they are attractive. Attractive not in the physical, attractive means as a virtue of the leadership capability. The next factor is judgment. The leaders have capability and competency of making judgment, that is second factor, and those who will take birth with charm, judgment, and next is intelligence. Intelligence means how effectively someone can adjust with the environment and capable to attain the desired goals, that is intelligence. So, according to great man theory, the leaders must have intelligence, and next element of leadership according to great man theory is courage. According to this theory, leaders must be courageous, or leaders born with the trait of courage, and the next characteristic of the leaders according to great man theory is aggressiveness and persuasion also. So, the people, those who have born with the trait of aggressiveness. Here aggressiveness is not something negative. Aggressiveness means with what kind of energy, effort and zeal someone can work. If someone is working with a very low volume or amount of enthusiasm, energy, effort, then accomplishment of job will be difficult. So, what kind of aggressiveness? The next is persuasion. Yes, capability to interact with people and enroll them on their vision, that is persuasion. So, according to great man theory, the leaders, those who have taken birth with the characteristic of charm, judgment, intelligence, courage, aggressiveness and persuasion are the leaders. Next theory is the trait theory, and the trait theory is like the great man theory, and this theory was propounded by Ralph M. Stockdale, and this theory was founded by studying the characteristic of different. Actually, Ralph tried to study the characteristic which leaders have, those characteristics which dominating, which prominent, which majority kind of characteristics are being observed and practiced by the leaders. That was studied and this theory was developed. The characteristics are compared to those who are potential leaders, those who are already in the position of leadership or those who are already effectively practicing the leadership. Those leaders were compared, and on comparison certain sets of characteristics were identified common among all these potential effective leaders, and these characteristics were considered as necessary if someone want to practice the leadership theory. Then next in the trait theory is what various characteristics are appearances, socioeconomic, and if we talk about the next theory is the behavioral theory, what kind of behavior is present. So, with this we will conclude this session, and in the next session we will take the next topic. I hope that students might have enjoyed the learning, and we will meet in the next session. Till then, thank you very much.